Pokemon Day 2024 is here, and with it, it brought 2 new Tera Raid events and 1 returning Tera Raid. Up first, it's Ground Tera Venusaur. Welcome back to another DanSquared video, you Danimals. It's been a bit since our last 7-star Tera Raid, and I'm really happy to be back here talking with you Danimals. Today is Pokemon Day, so happy Pokemon Day, and to celebrate, we got 3 new Tera Raid events. Well, I should say 2 new Tera Raid events and 1 returning Tera Raid event. The first is Ground Tera Venusaur, the second will be Steel Tera Blastoise, and rounding it out will be the return of Dragon Tera Charizard, which was actually the first Tera Raid event featured in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. There have been rumors floating around about Ground Tera Venusaur and Steel Tera Blastoise raids all the way back before the 7-star Mewtwo Tera raids, so I'm so glad that they are finally here. Ground Tera Venusaur is up first. That starts the day I'm posting this video, Tuesday, February 27th, Pokemon Day at 7 PM Eastern Time. I'm going to be live right here as soon as the event drops, finding the best solo build for the people. Steel Tera Blastoise kicks off on March 6th, and then Dragon Tera Charizard kicks off on March 13th. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Let's talk about Ground Tera Venusaur. And before we can talk about the Pokemon we're going to use to beat Venusaur, we have to talk a little bit about Venusaur itself. This Tera Raid video is brought to you by the first DanSquared merch drop. Dropping on Friday, March 8th, you can own the official No Hang Up Gang t-shirt. Now back to the video. Venusaur is an all-around really solid Pokemon. Offensively, it's more proficient as a special attacker. I expect it'll have pretty much exclusively special attacking moves. Maybe it'll have 1 physical attacking move in there to make it a mixed attacker. Defensively, we're going to want to attack it with our physical attacking Tera Raid Pokemon if possible to deal a little bit more damage. It's actually fairly fast, and thanks to its hidden ability Chlorophyll, while the sun is up, its speed is doubled. Let's put a pin in that harsh sunlight because I think weather control is going to be the key to defeating Venusaur. Venusaur is going to be Tera-type ground. There are 3 types that hit ground type for super effective damage: grass, water, and ice. Venusaur is normally a grass and poison type Pokemon. This gives Venusaur built-in coverage against 2 of ground's weaknesses, water and grass typing. Now let's go back to harsh sunlight and why weather control is the key to defeating Venusaur. Venusaur has the move Weather Ball, which doesn't look like much, but while there's a weather condition, its base power is doubled from 50 to 100. During harsh sunlight, that becomes a base power 100 fire-type move. This gives Venusaur amazing coverage against our ice-type Pokemon. But this is not the only benefit that Venusaur could be getting from harsh sunlight. It could also run the support move Growth, which would sharply raise both its attack and special attack during harsh sunlight. For its grass stab, Venusaur could further lean into its sun theme and run Solar Beam, which does not require a turn to charge up during harsh sunlight. For its poison stab, I'm very confident that it will have Sludge Bomb. For its ground type stab, I think it will have Earth Power. Let me know in the comments what moves you think Venusaur is bringing into this Tera Raid. Now that we know what we're up against, let's take a look at the counters that we're going to use to defeat Venusaur. Here's a high-level overview at my 5 builds for taking down Ground Tera 7-star Venusaur. You'll notice that all 5 of these Pokemon have some sort of weather control because that is going to be the key to defeating Venusaur. Especially for the Tera Ice counters, we cannot let Venusaur get rolling with Fire-type Weather Ball. That's going to hurt us, do a ton of damage. So up top we have the lone Tera Water counter, and that is Sap Sipper Goodra. Next to it we have Baxcalibur. Underneath of it, we have Frosmoth, and then we have Ice Rider Calyrex. Rounding out the group, we have Kyurem-White. Now let's take a closer look at each of these builds. Up first is our Tera Water Goodra build for taking down 7-star Venusaur. This build has max special attack EVs and max special defense EVs, the final 4 in HP. It has a modest nature to further increase its special attack while lowering its attack, because this is a special attacking build. You'll notice that pretty much all the builds on this list have special defense EVs because I think Venusaur is only going to be a special attacking Pokemon. If it ends up being a mixed attacker, we can switch our EV spreads and put it into HP for more balance. Sap Sipper is the key to this build. This makes Goodra immune to Venusaur's grass-type attacks other than the turns in which our ability is nullified. If we're worried about that, we can replace Tearful Look with Protect. Otherwise, I'm bringing in Tearful Look to lower Venusaur's attack and special attack by 1 stage. Muddy Water is this build's main attacking move. It has a base power of 90 and a chance to lower the target's accuracy by 1 stage, but it has the drawback that it's not 100% accurate. If you prefer to use moves with 100% accuracy, use Surf instead of Muddy Water. Acid Spray softens up Venusaur for Muddy Water or Surf, and last but not least we have Rain Dance to give us some weather control, get rid of the harsh sunlight which would weaken our water type moves, and instead bring in the rainy weather condition which powers up our water type moves by 50%. This build also uses the Shell Bell held item for some recovery. Next up is the first of the 4 Tera ice counters on this list, Baxcalibur. This build has max attack EVs, max special defense EVs, and the final 4 in HP. This build has an adamant nature to increase its attack while lowering its special attack because it is a physical attacking Pokemon. The ability Thermal Exchange could end up being really helpful in this Tera Raid for those times when we don't have weather control. If we get hit by Venusaur's fire type Weather Ball, it will increase our attack. Avalanche is this build's main attacking move. It has a pedestrian base power of 60, which is double to 120 if the user has already been damaged during that turn. It also has negative priority to make sure that we're moving last, so Venusaur is always going to be hitting us first, making sure that Avalanche is always going to swing for 120 in this Tera Raid. This build uses Crunch to charge its Tera Orb and for the 30% chance to lower Venusaur's defense by 1 stage. Swords Dance powers up Avalanche. Baxcalibur is the first of 4 Snowscape users on this list. It provides some much needed weather control for Ice-type Pokemon. It prevents Venusaur from potentially using a Fire-type Weather Ball to hit us for super effective damage. It also gives our Ice-type Pokemon a 50% defense increase and makes sure that Blizzard never misses. Baxcalibur also uses the Shell Bell held item for some recovery. Next up is the build I'm personally most excited for. It's my Tera Ice Frosmoth for taking down 7-star Venusaur. It has max special attack EVs, max special defense EVs, and the final 4 in HP. It's a special attacking Pokemon, so it has a modest nature. The ability Ice Scales is the key to this build. This halves all the damage Frosmoth takes from special attacking moves. I think Venusaur is only going to be using special attacking moves, so this is going to make Frosmoth into a tank. Combine this with Quiver Dance, which raises Frosmoth's special attack, special defense, and speed, and Frosmoth is not going to be taking any damage from Venusaur. That is so long as we have weather control with Snowscape, because before we Terastallize, we'll be taking ×4 super effective damage from Venusaur's Fire-type Weather Ball. Yikes. Blizzard is this build's main attacking move. It hits like a ton of bricks, and while it's snowing, it never misses. It also has a chance to freeze the Tera Raid Pokemon, which is nice. Even with a PP max, Blizzard only has 8 uses, so we need to bring in a secondary attacking move. I'm bringing in Icy Wind to charge our Tera Orb and give speed control to Frosmoth and its allies. If you bring Frosmoth into group raids where you won't need more than 8 Blizzards, you can replace Icy Wind with Aurora Veil to give Frosmoth and its allies a 50% boost to their defense and special defense. And lastly, Frosmoth also uses the Shell Bell held item for some recovery. Here is the first of the 2 legendary Pokemon on this list. It is Ice Rider Calyrex. This thing is a monster. It has max attack EVs, max special defense EVs, and the final 4 in HP. It has an adamant nature to further increase its physical attack while lowering its special attack, giving it a hilarious physical attack of 471. Ice Rider Calyrex's abilities, that's right, 2 abilities, do not really help us in this Tera Raid. We're not taking any knockouts, and I don't think Venusaur is going to be holding any berries. Glacial Lance is this build's main attacking move. It hits like a ton of bricks. Swords Dance makes sure that our lance is very, very sharp. This build uses Snarl to charge our Tera Orb and lower Venusaur's special attack by 1 stage every use. Last but not least, we of course need our weather control with Snowscape. You might be picking up on the trend, but Ice Rider Calyrex also uses the Shell Bell held item for some recovery. No, that is not Cash Carl, it's my Kyurem build for taking down 7-star Venusaur. This build has max special attack EVs, max special defense EVs, and the final 4 in HP. It has a modest nature because it's a special attacking build, giving it a whopping special attack of 482. The ability Turbo Blaze is super powerful, but it doesn't help us in this Tera Raid because Venusaur's ability is Chlorophyll, which just makes it fast. Blizzard is this build's main attacking move. As we mentioned earlier, while it's snowing, it doesn't miss. And we have Snowscape to make sure that it is snowing to give us that much needed weather control. Next, we have Light Screen to increase the special bulk of Kyurem and its allies. Last but not least, I have Ice Beam because Kyurem really doesn't get a ton of good stat raising moves or any good coverage moves, something like Snarl, which Calyrex had. So if you have a better 4th move for Kyurem, let me know in the comments. Kyurem-White also uses the Shell Bell held item for some recovery. If you're unsure about how to get Kyurem-White, catch Kyurem, catch Reshiram, buy the DNA splicers at Porto Marinata, and combine them into Kyurem-White. Let me know in the comments if you try any of these builds out, or what you are using to take down 7-star Venusaur. If you enjoyed this video, please consider dropping a like, leaving a comment, or using Blizzard on that subscribe button for more DanSquared. Thanks for watching and happy Venusaur season!